So it's been a little while since I had the idea of starting a YouTube channel. I've done a couple of videos of days out visiting either English heritage or National Trust places, can't remember what they were now. Haven't really done any updates or anything like that. So I figured while I'm on my stroll this afternoon through the countryside of Raysbury, we could have a little chat and update things. Currently in the middle of a field on the way to look at another small National Trust place. There's a sign outside the field saying beware of the bull. I can't see a bull, I think I'm more worried about that. I can see geese. Big Canadian geese over there somewhere. I think I'm more worried about them than I am the bull. They can be decidedly unfriendly. Anyway, bit of an update. So there's been quite a lot of changes in my life. If you've watched the first video, you know that I recently went for a breakup from an 8-year relationship. That was, and still is, pretty tough. I think what's been hardest about that is that it's not just the end of a relationship, it's the end of everything. Couldn't stay in the home I was at the time. Couldn't afford such a big place on my own. So I've had to move to a much smaller place. Still very nice, but much smaller. I'm no longer in touch with what were my stepdaughters. Raised them for nearly 8 years, all the way from end of primary school to seeing them off to university. And I've not heard from them since February. Well, the odd text message with the eldest, but that's it. That's pretty devastating, to be fair. So where we are, it's a big thing called Ankerwick, and it's a National Trust site, and to get to it you have to go through these fields that are also National Trust, and they have cows grazing in them, just, you know, as you do. Other than some text message interactions with my now ex-partner about moving out, about packing the house and all that sort of stuff, which was over the course of a couple of days, I guess about 2 months ago now. Haven't heard anything from her at all. She said several times that she would stay in touch. She said several times that we would meet up and talk. And she hasn't done either of those things. We haven't actually had a real conversation about what happened. Just text messages. We spoke to each other, I think, for a total of 20 minutes since this all happened in mid-February. So that's not been easy to deal with. Complete lack of closure, as it was. It's been a struggle. So as I said, I've now moved. I moved the huge distance of 1.4 kilometres from where I used to live. I was looking at moving further, sort of back east, back in more close to West London, or even northeast, closer to where I work. But the sort of place I could get for the money I was spending was really not good value from what I could see in that area. I could get a very small 1-bedroom for the money that I'm spending now. What really killed it for me, or killed the idea of moving closer, wasn't just the value proposition, it was also the travel time to work. Where I live now, it's about 40 minutes to an hour from work. If I moved within sort of 5 or 10 kilometres of my work, the travel time was still 40 minutes to an hour. A little bit less, maybe, but that's roughly what Google Maps was estimating it as. The reason is where I am now, it's mostly motorway. There's a little bit of non-motorway, probably without traffic the last 5 minutes of the journey. With traffic, the last 15, 20 minutes of the journey is non-motorway. Whereas if I was living much closer to work, it would be all non-motorway traffic, all small streets. And it's just the time of day that I travel to and from work, it's just completely jam-packed. So it just didn't make sense to move closer. I wouldn't be saving any money, I wouldn't be saving any time on travel, and I'd be spending the same money for a much smaller place to live. I've recently started counselling, I've started CBT therapy, so hopefully that can start to address some of these issues and start making me feel relatively normal again. I think I've been struggling for so long, I can't remember what normal feels like. I struggled for a hell of a long while with depression and PTSD and OCD. It became a hell of a lot worse over the last few years. Getting sick took everything out of me, physically and mentally. And I was doing my best to try to keep my shit together, but failing dismally. That's the biggest reason why things didn't work out. I think I simply wasn't the person I used to be. Gone from being very active, enjoying spending time with my family, doing lots of family things, to just not wanting to do anything, either being physically unable to because I was ill, or mentally unable to because I was depressed. And I never wanted to admit it. Typical stupid ass man doesn't want to admit when you're struggling. Hindsight, as they say, is always 20/20. I should have simply spoken to my partner at the time, my daughters at the time, and told them what I was going through. They, I'm sure, would have understood. I'm equally sure they would have supported me and helped me through it. As for the shitty medical condition that has been a huge fucking issue for a very long while, and has massively impacted my mental health and my family and everything else, and my job, that's pretty much going well. I appear to be in remission. It's one of these conditions that you can't cure, you just have phases of it being active and inactive. Currently it's inactive, I'm in remission. I'm currently not taking any medication for it. I was on steroids, corticosteroids, prednisolone for a while, and on a class of drugs called DMARDs, disease-modifying antirheumatics, which are basically chemotherapy drugs, just in a very low dose. That's been pretty tough. That's had quite an effect on my physical health as well. They can cause fatigue, which they really have. Being on steroids for a while made me absolutely pile weight on. I gained something like 20 kilos in 6 months. It was absurd. But yeah, now I'm no longer on those medications. Many of the side effects have resolved. I've got more energy in general, except for when I'm feeling absolutely crap because I'm depressed, which means I'm training a lot more now, a lot more consistently, a lot harder. I'm getting on the indoor training on the bike. I don't feel quite fit enough yet to be going out for long outdoor bike rides. So I'm doing relatively long indoor bike rides a few times a week. I'm doing resistance training at home. I've got enough weight for dumbbells, and I've got heavy enough kettlebells, bands, maces and stuff that I can get a decent workout in, so that's all going quite well. In addition to sorting the training out, I've been trying to sort my diet out. I've developed some pretty crap dietary habits over the last few years. Part of that is due to the medication that I was on, especially the steroids. They make you just eat all the time and eat crap, hence why I put on 20 kilos. Also, behaviours, being depressed, just doesn't help with maintaining a steady diet. But I'm working on fixing that. So I'm gradually losing weight. I've also been getting a bit of help with that. I think I mentioned before I was taking a GLP-1 medication. At that time I was on trizepatide, which is commonly known as Mounjaro. Previous to that I tried semaglutide, Ozempic or Wegovy. For the last 2 months I've been on retatrutide, which is the next one that's going to be coming along. It's currently just finished stage 3 human trials. It is very, very effective. At the moment you can't get it through legitimate means, you have to get it through the grey market. It is what it is. It's safe by all accounts. It's passed the trials. It's expected to be coming out in the next couple of years. But with anything you get from the grey markets, be damned careful. Don't take this as a recommendation, whatever you do. But I thoroughly researched it. Started taking a low dose. As you do, you titrate up over a course of several weeks. But it's been very effective. Not only effective at losing weight, but it's had the effect of increasing energy. It has some evidence to show that it's effective for inflammatory pain, which seems to be at least partly working for me. So I'm doing better in that way. So physically, I'm not doing too bad, which is a weird place for me because physically I've been broken for 3 years, more, 3-4 years. So physically on the mend, mentally on the mend. I feel I've got more work to do mentally than physically at the moment. So in terms of getting out in the world and doing more stuff, joined the gaming group, going well. Going to be taking up more games to play with them. At the moment I play Legions Imperialis, which is very good. We've also played some board games together, really good fun. I'm going to be taking up a game called Blood Bowl, which I played a long time ago and very much enjoyed. There's a big group plays that at this gaming group. And I'm probably going to be starting playing Dungeons and Dragons again. I'm a huge geek, there's no question of that. You kind of grow out of it in your 20s, 30s, and then you get back into it in your 40s and 50s. It's just the circle of life. And I can take solace in the fact that both Henry Cavill and Vin Diesel are massive geeks as well. If you follow Henry Cavill, whatever, on Instagram, you'll see that he is king geek. Big Warhammer fan. He's going to be working with Amazon doing Warhammer TV shows and such, so it should be good because his passion for it is unbelievable. Anyway, so I'm doing that. I'm joining another gaming club not far from me. So we're going to have a couple of options for social groups. Social anxiety kicks in. It's a struggle sometimes, but I'm doing my best. Playing Blood on the Clock Tower online regularly. Not a lot of places I can find doing it in person, which is annoying. Because when I have done that, I've very much enjoyed it, but I'm going to keep looking for that. I'm playing online pretty much every week. Good crowd that does that. I'm in that field where there's a bull again, so I'm on the lookout. I'm also looking out for the geese. So that's the update. Some ways things going well, some ways things not going well. Not been as active or as social as I was planning to do, but I'm working on that. I'm working on myself more than anything else. Trying to get my shit together. Trying to be a better person, not just for my partner, my family, or for anybody else, but for me. Not doing too bad. Still a work in progress, but we're moving in the right direction. And I think when all else is said and done, the only thing you can do is try to move in the right direction. So we're going to carry on and see how it goes.